Most men over 60 are doing something every single morning that's quietly destroying their ability to get and maintain an erection. And the scary part? It has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with testosterone. And it has absolutely nothing to do with what most doctors are talking about. The question you need to ask yourself right now is this: are you treating the symptom, or are you actually fixing the problem? Because here's what nobody is telling you. Millions of men are being handed a prescription for Viagra or Cialis, and they feel like that's the answer. But those medications don't fix anything. They just borrow function that your body is losing. And when the pill wears off, the damage is still there. It's still getting worse. And one day, even the medication stops working. That's the conversation we need to have today. I am Dr. Natalia De La Cruz, and if you want to keep receiving important content about health after 60, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Now back to what I was saying, because this is where it gets serious. Most men lose the ability to get a firm erection not because their testosterone crashes overnight, although that does happen. They lose it because of a molecule inside their body that almost nobody talks about. A molecule that peaks when you're young and starts dropping the moment you hit your 40s. By the time you're 60, levels of this molecule can be less than half of what they were in your 30s, and without it, your arteries can't do what they're supposed to do. Blood flow slows down, pressure builds in the wrong places, and the physical response that used to happen easily just stops happening. That molecule is called nitric oxide. And what I'm going to explain to you in the next few minutes could change the way you think about this problem completely. Here's the simple version. Nitric oxide is produced by the cells that line the inside of your arteries. It's called the endothelium. When your endothelium is healthy, it releases nitric oxide, which tells your blood vessels to relax and open up. That process is called vasodilation. And vasodilation is exactly what needs to happen for blood to flow into the penile tissue and create an erection. No nitric oxide, no relaxation. No relaxation, no blood flow, no erection. It's not complicated. It's actually very simple biology. And here's something most men don't realize. The drug Viagra, it works by targeting nitric oxide pathways. It doesn't create nitric oxide. It just amplifies a signal that's already there. So if your nitric oxide levels are too low, even Viagra starts losing its effectiveness. That's why some men find it stops working as well over time. The drug can only do so much when the underlying system is broken. So the real question is, what broke it in the first place? Several things damage your nitric oxide production over time. High blood sugar is one of the biggest. Sugar literally eats away at the endothelial cells, the exact cells responsible for making nitric oxide. This is why men with diabetes or even borderline insulin resistance are dramatically more likely to experience erectile dysfunction. One study found that nearly 75% of men with diabetes have significant ED. Not because of their testosterone, because of what high blood sugar does to the inside of their arteries. Alcohol is another one. Most men don't connect those dots, but regular alcohol consumption significantly decreases nitric oxide output and damages the endothelial lining over time. Chronic stress is also a major factor, and this one is important. When your body is in stress mode, it releases a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol and nitric oxide are directly antagonistic. When cortisol goes up, nitric oxide goes down. And here's the real kicker. Erections require a calm, parasympathetic nervous system. That means you physically cannot get a full erection when your body thinks it's in danger. This is why performance anxiety creates a vicious cycle. Stress about not getting an erection lowers your nitric oxide. Lower nitric oxide makes erections harder to achieve, which creates more stress. And around it goes. Now let's talk about what most men are doing completely wrong when they try to fix this on their own. A lot of men start Googling testosterone boosters the moment they notice bedroom problems. And yes, testosterone plays a role. But here's what most people don't know. Nitric oxide actually controls how much testosterone your body produces. The cells in your testicles that make testosterone need nitric oxide to function properly. So if your nitric oxide is already depleted, your testosterone is going to suffer regardless of what supplements you're taking. You're trying to fill a leaky bucket. The fix has to start upstream. There's also a strong connection between nitric oxide and sleep, specifically REM sleep. Your body produces a significant amount of its daily nitric oxide during deep restorative sleep. It's not a coincidence that men who sleep poorly or who have sleep apnea have dramatically higher rates of erectile dysfunction. Studies show that nearly 80% of men with untreated sleep apnea experience ED. And it makes total sense when you understand the nitric oxide connection. Poor sleep tanks your nitric oxide. Low nitric oxide reduces your testosterone. Your sleep architecture breaks down further. And the cycle keeps going. If you're waking up tired, if you snore, if your partner says you stop breathing at night, that's not just a comfort issue. That's a medical problem that is directly affecting your sexual function. Please take that seriously. Now let's get into the 5 things you can actually do starting today to reverse this. And before we go further, I want to mention something. If you've been making decisions about your prostate health based on outdated information or incomplete advice from the internet, you're not alone. A lot of men after 60 are unknowingly doing things that quietly damage their prostate and their overall men's health. That's why I put together the medical guide to avoid the mistakes that damage the prostate after 60, available in the pinned comment below the video. It's completely free. It covers the most common errors men make, including the ones connected to what we're talking about today. Go grab it after you finish watching this. Okay, back to the 5 strategies. Number 1. Start breathing through your nose. I know that sounds almost too simple to matter, but the research on this is genuinely impressive. When you breathe through your nose instead of your mouth, your body produces significantly more nitric oxide. The nasal passages contain specific tissues that help synthesize and release nitric oxide directly into the air you breathe and into your bloodstream. Breathing through your mouth completely bypasses this system. And here's what's even more interesting. Nasal breathing increases how much oxygen your blood actually releases to your tissues by up to 20%. More oxygen in your tissues means better cellular function. Better cellular function means healthier endothelial cells. Healthier endothelial cells means more nitric oxide. Everything connects. Start practicing nasal breathing at night. If you mouth breathe while you sleep, consider using a simple nasal strip or even gentle mouth tape. A lot of men see improvements in energy, sleep quality, and circulation within just a few weeks of making this one change. Number 2. Exercise. But the kind of exercise matters more than most people know. Heavy, intense exercise has its place. But if you're over 60 and your nitric oxide is already depleted, extreme exertion can sometimes temporarily push your cardiovascular system past the point where it recovers efficiently. What works better, especially to start, is moderate aerobic exercise, walking at a brisk pace, light cycling, swimming, the kind where you can still breathe through your nose. When you exercise at that intensity while maintaining nasal breathing, you're training your endothelial cells to produce more nitric oxide. Over time, you're rebuilding the very system that creates healthy blood flow throughout your entire body, including the arteries that feed penile tissue. 30 minutes of moderate movement, 5 days a week, consistently for 8 to 12 weeks, produces measurable improvements in endothelial function. It's not a quick fix, but it's a real one. Number 3. Eat more nitrate-rich foods. Your body converts dietary nitrates into nitric oxide through a specific pathway in your saliva and digestive tract, and certain foods are packed with nitrates. Beets are at the top of the list. Beet juice in particular has been studied specifically for its effect on blood pressure, circulation, and erectile function. Spinach, arugula, kale, Swiss chard, all of these leafy greens are high in natural nitrates. Adding even 1 or 2 servings of these foods daily can meaningfully support your body's nitric oxide production. What you need to avoid is just as important. High sugar foods damage the endothelial cells that make nitric oxide. Processed foods loaded with seed oils create chronic low-grade inflammation that slowly destroys vascular function. Alcohol, even moderate regular drinking, suppresses nitric oxide output. These aren't scare tactics. These are mechanisms. Your body is following the rules of chemistry. Feed it the right inputs and you get better outputs. Number 4, manage your stress. And I mean really manage it, not just tell yourself to relax. Cortisol is the enemy of nitric oxide, and chronic stress, the kind that most men over 60 carry silently, from career pressure, financial worry, family responsibilities, that kind of sustained low-grade stress keeps cortisol elevated. It keeps your sympathetic nervous system switched on, and that shuts down the very physiological state that allows for healthy erectile function. Parasympathetic activation is what you need, and you can train it deliberately. Deep, slow nasal breathing activates the vagus nerve and shifts your nervous system toward a calmer state. Meditation, even 5 to 10 minutes daily, reduces cortisol measurably. Cold and warm alternating showers stimulate vagal tone. Regular time in nature reduces cortisol. These aren't soft suggestions. These are evidence-based interventions that change your hormonal environment. Number 5, fix your sleep. I already mentioned the connection between sleep and nitric oxide, but I want to emphasize this one more time because it might be the most important of all 5 strategies, especially for men over 60. Your body does the bulk of its repair and regeneration during deep sleep. That includes endothelial cell maintenance, testosterone production, cortisol clearance, and nitric oxide synthesis. If you're getting less than 7 hours of quality sleep consistently, you are running your entire hormonal and vascular system at a deficit every single night. Here are the most effective things you can do to improve sleep quality starting tonight. Get off screens at least 1 hour before bed. Blue light suppresses melatonin and disrupts your circadian rhythm. Keep your bedroom cool, ideally between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, dark and quiet. If you have symptoms of sleep apnea, get tested. Treated sleep apnea can produce dramatic improvements in testosterone, erectile function, energy, and mood. And here's the thing about all 5 of these strategies. They're not 5 separate fixes. They're 5 parts of one system. Nasal breathing increases nitric oxide output directly. Exercise rebuilds the endothelial cells that make it. Nitrate-rich foods provide the raw material. Stress reduction stops cortisol from suppressing it. And quality sleep gives your body the time to produce and regulate it. When you combine all 5, you're not just patching a symptom, you're actually restoring a system. That's the difference between men who get their function back and men who keep adjusting their Viagra dosage for the rest of their lives. Here's what I want you to take away from everything we've talked about today. Erectile dysfunction after 60 is not inevitable. It is not simply a consequence of aging that you have to accept. In most cases, it is a signal. A very clear signal that something specific is breaking down inside your vascular system, your hormonal system, your stress response, or your sleep. And when you address those root causes, your body often has a remarkable ability to recover function that you thought was gone. You don't have to resign yourself to a pill every time you want to be intimate with your partner. You don't have to pretend this isn't affecting your confidence, your relationship, or your quality of life. It is, and there are real proven things you can do about it. Starting today, the 5 strategies, nasal breathing, regular moderate exercise, nitrate-rich foods, stress reduction, and quality sleep, give your body what it needs to rebuild nitric oxide production from the inside out. Results won't happen overnight, but they are real and they build over time. If you're serious about protecting your men's health after 60, not just your sexual function, but your prostate, your cardiovascular system, and your quality of life, then go grab the medical guide to avoid the mistakes that damage the prostate after 60 in the pinned comment below. It's free, and the information in it goes hand in hand with everything I just shared with you today. And if this video was useful to you, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Every week, I publish content specifically designed for men over 60 who want real answers, not just symptom management. Because you deserve to feel strong, healthy, and confident in your body at any age. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next video.